Hello and welcome to the Here For It podcast with Chris
and Melissa.
We're two sisters that are here to bring you real and relatable topics that we hope will inspire you,
cause you to think, laugh, and grow.
If you hear something you like, please remember to like, subscribe, and share.
And now, let's get into today's topic.
I have a song in my heart. We have come into this house to gather in His name to worship Him. We have come into this house to gather in His name to worship Him. We have come into this house, gather in His name to worship Christ the Lord. Oh, worship Him. That's why we're going to hell. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Here For It podcast with Chris.
And I am Melissa. Happy day.
We are working. Well, we shouldn't be working because we are dedicated to the cause.
That's
and bringing
right.
some content.
It's Labor Day.
Okay. We threw up some bonus footage, and people were watching that, which we love. And I'm like, you know what? The people, they just here for whatever we put
They
out
here
there.
for it, and we love it.
We love it so much. So I'm like, we got content.
We got to work. So we working today. Working for you all.
Yeah. So this is going to be like our freestyle relationship episode.
Yeah.
May not be so pointed. We may be all over the place. So y'all just roll with us with whatever we talking about.
Listen to us. Talk to us.
Yeah. Because like right now she's looking for something on her phone.
I'm looking for something that's important that I wanted to share with y'all. But I was trying to look for it before we got on here, but just bear with me. If I can't find it, then I'm gonna wing it.
Right. We just gonna talk while she scrolls because I was asking her, she was asking me what was going on in the world or whatever, and I was telling her that I do not know because the news makes me depressed. So if it's not on the Shade Room, if it's not on TMZ or Hollywood Unlocked, I don't know about
That's shallow. So what be on TMZ in the Shade Room? What happened?
They just tell you anything you need to know. Like, you know.
What happened with the stars?
Did you hear about the CEO of Bed Bath & Beyond? He just jumped to his death.
Did he?
Yeah, he just jumped. And like you saw that in India, that ride that just...
that just fell down?
That just fell down. And, you know, they tell you about the celebrity, news and gossip or whatever. So
it's rough out here, man.
Every day it's just something else. And I'm like...
What did I see? What did I see on the news? Oh, I haven't seen any news lately. I be living up under a rock. I'm going to be like, what's her name? Stacey Dash? She found out that...
DMX is dead. Girl, where have you been?
Where have you been, Stacey?
Oh man.
But you know when people die, I do feel like that. You be like,
that you didn't know?
that I didn't know. Yeah. But I'm not on social media. I'd be like, I didn't even know. Yeah. I'll go back and do the research. Like, dang, they died 2 years ago.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree. Certain people, but I need you to know the DMX.
I need you to know that
impact in the in black
in the industry.
And
I love
hip-hop.
DMX though.
Me too.
I did.
Oh, I just want to hug him.
Me too.
That man was so angry. He had so much inside of him, but
so much. They be having so much trouble.
Yeah,
and they are always at war.
Always.
They know God. They feel God pulling on them, but the enemy just seems to be stronger.
Yeah.
We know that God is stronger, but all of the rappers that died and passed away, every last one of them, I just want to hug them.
Yeah, all of them.
And just want to change their lives.
I know.
Man.
I was sad for him. And, when Stacey Dash was crying, she was like, she was sad because, obviously she's a recovering addict. I don't know what she was on, but.
She was an addict?
Yeah. She was recovering and she kept saying, I'm so sad that he lost the battle, basically.
Yeah.
I guess he overdosed.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's a fight every day. Like I can't imagine being addicted to drugs. Like I'm addicted to sugar and ice. And girl, it's a problem. Like I will eat ice until my teeth fall out.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then eat it again. It's like being a glutton for punishment.
Yes.
It is.
Addiction is real.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine being on a substance. And you know how DMX's story is like somebody gave him something. He was like somebody that he looked up to. And he was like, why would he do that to me? Did you ever see that? And he was just crying. He was like, some OG that he looked up to
gave him something to kill him.
Yeah, literally. He was like, why would he do
that?
But
that's how the guy from The Wire died. Yeah. He was battling from drugs. Yep. And do you remember, I'm sorry guys, I'm not really good with actors and actresses names, but the guy that was on That's So Raven, the young guy.
He funny though.
He's
Orlando Brown. He a mess, but I feel sad for him.
So sad for him that he's gone.
Did you see him on Dr. Phil?
Yes, talking about P. Diddy.
Yes, and then Dr. Phil was asking him how many kids he had and how his kids was. He was like, I think one got to be like 6 or 7. I don't know. Baby,
that baby.
He was high while he was doing the.
He was saying P. Diddy gave him some type of love, some type of sugar love or something. I was like, oh no, stop telling.
Don't tell P. Diddy
got the
business.
P. Diddy.
You got Diddy. Don't tell nobody.
He got to do Y Diddy and was just putting it out there. But these people are living lives of hell. You think that stardom life is good?
Baby, no.
You get caught up in it. It's hell.
A star. Girl, I would be the worst. I don't want to take no pictures with you. I'm not about to be signed or I'm not about to be on a tour bus from city to city, state to state. Girl.
Signing autographs, smiling, going to parties where people really aren't having fun.
And they be broke. They don't got no money.
They don't have no money.
All the stories. I remember watching the TLC thing and she was like, we was broke. Like, and y'all seeing all this glitz and glam, we had no money. Like the cars that they said they used to drive or how they got around. I would never want to be famous. I want to be famous. I don't want that. Jesus only. Okay?
Yeah. What good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul?
Yeah.
And I love watching Unsung. I don't know if you guys love Unsung. It's the bomb.
Uncensored and Unsung.
Unsung is good.
It's better.
But every story is tragic.
It is.
Every story is tragic. It involves drugs, abuse, just demonic activity. It's nothing good about that life and about that industry.
It's not.
And
it's not.
That's the whole thing of the enemy is he wants to fool you to think, okay, well, you could be a celebrity, you want to be this, you want to be that, but really, it's not even worth it. You don't even have peace or sanity.
They said Dennis Rodman would just have parties every night because that was his peace. Like when everybody would go away, he would be tormented by demons and things like that. So he'd be like, let's have a party. Like, don't leave me. Like,
don't leave me alone. Stay all night, all morning.
You can have that. You can have it. Okay.
You can have it.
This weekend we were at church and we brought this what is he? A speaker. He's called the Forerunner. And he was in the entertainment industry. I think now we want to have a song.
Cut this part of the video, okay? Sorry about that.
But he was in the entertainment industry and he just talked about how God pulled him out. Check him out, y'all, one day, the Forerunner 777. But his own personal testimony, he was just like, it's just not good there.
It's dark. It's
just dark. So.
And I wouldn't want to be there. I watched did you guys watch Woodstock 99 on Netflix?
A movie?
So Woodstock, do you remember in the 70s they would have like Woodstock as like where all the hippies would come together, rock bands, music. They would have like this love and peace
type situation.
Yeah, but more on Caucasian side. Okay. Lots of hippies, lots of freedom, peace, love, and happiness. Yeah. So they would have these events, but a lot of rock stars, a lot of entertainers would be a part of it, and they would just be thousands and millions of people outside. But they decided to do it again in 99. And in 99, it turned into a zombie world. They burned the whole place down. All the people, they were on drugs. They were doing sex. They were having sex. They were naked. They were in satanic trances, and the way that they spent it on Netflix was that the people started acting like this because they were upset about the prices that they were charging for water and for food, and that they didn't have adequate, supplies and resources for them. Whoever designed that whole program designed it to be hell.
Yeah.
And they got their instruction, in my opinion, from hell.
Wow.
The music, the artists that they had, even while the people were out there getting like trampled on and raped and they were naked, they continued to play the music.
Sounds
and
like
then they gave it sounds like
Astroworld.
Astroworld.
Yeah.
At the end of the concert, they gave them all candles to light candles. Everybody that was already drunk, everybody that was already high, that had been there for 4 days in this zone of music and environment, they gave them candles and they played a song about fire and light and let it burn. And the people start burning the whole place down and tearing up. I mean, it was, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. Woodstock 99.
I got to watch that.
And then when they left, when the commentators were speaking about, the events, they were like, there was nothing that happened wrong. We're going to do this again.
What?
It was a successful event.
What?
Yeah. I mean, it's just all documented.
That's weird.
And it was awful. It was awful. And that's what I envision. I don't know about you guys, if you believe in heaven. If you believe in heaven, there is a hell. A hell to me is a place without God. It is a place without God. And I couldn't imagine him being not
where you can't call on him,
where you can't call him
to him.
There's no presence of him being there.
That's scary.
And the way that it was scary. It was just like that Astro World.
Yeah.
Listen,
we gotta talk about that one day too.
Yeah.
I need to do some more research on that.
Yeah,
we need to talk about it because everybody done forgot about it. That's the problem.
Did we forget? Because that's what they expect you to do.
In 2 or 3 days, you will completely forget about whatever. Unless you were like a victim there or something like that, you forget.
You forget
like,
about it.
What's happening next?
And the media doesn't truly tell you what really happened.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of sweeping under the rug. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that they can take off the internet that you put on there. Yeah. But those kids were dying, and those people were for their lives.
Yeah.
And they were running to that concert like zombies, climbing over things, jumping up walls. That's crazy.
They was talking about the sound frequency was just off. People were throwing up and passing out from the time before the concert started.
Before the concert started, they played this one beat the whole entire day.
We need to delve into that. We need to have a whole podcast on that.
A whole thing
because
on
people
that.
Be like, oh, that ain't nothing. It's a whole lot of something.
It's a whole lot of something.
Yeah, to take seriously and to be careful, to guard your avenues, to be careful what you listen to.
Yeah, what you listen to, what you listen to, what you watch, what you hear, what you see. I know this is a little serious or whatever, but it is just so real. Girl. And we walk around here like everything is okay, and it is not.
It's not.
And everything becomes more blatant and more blatant and more blatant.
And it's our job to tell people.
Yeah.
Like somebody said to me this weekend, one thing I know about you, you gonna tell it. That's what God put us here for. He's like, tell people. Now, if you're a girl, it's a good sale. You're going to tell the girl, your girlfriend.
Yes.
Or you got some cheap hair, or where you got some cute shoes or whatever. Tell these people about Jesus. Tell your friends and your coworkers, have a boldness for Christ and tell them whatever. I'm not saying try to convert them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying try to condemn them. But if you know something that is helpful, share it and let God do the rest.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit can work on it. Just be like, hey, check this out. Or I saw this or whatever. I'm going to tell it to the day I die.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Well, God says, you're the only Jesus that some will ever see. And I always ask God for forgiveness for people that I've let pass from me that I didn't share.
Yeah.
That goes to, one, I want to talk, well, we're rambling on, but
we can talk about that.
So I don't know, before I moved to Atlanta, I had the strangest thing happen to me. I've shared, some people know this story, some people don't, but I just want to share it with you guys because it ties into being a witness for Jesus.
Yeah. And a relationship.
And relationships and telling people about Christ.
Yep.
Because every time that you're put into someone's presence, it is your mission, or it should be your aim or your goal to share Christ with them in some kind of way, or to be a light. or to spread joy or good news or to give them something that they didn't have before.
I agree.
So, in Cleveland, I was going through, a couple of just some hard times in my life. Mm-hmm. And I ended up having to move one day, and I moved into this. I
had to move one day.
Yeah, I had to move one day. One day, they woke up. They said, "Girl, you gotta move." I said, "I gotta move."
I ended up having to move.
What happened was,
All right, go ahead.
I woke up and I was
like that. This is today. You got to move.
This is your granddaddy. It's time for you to move. I woke up. All right, I woke up that day and it was like, I gotta move. So I'm like, okay. And I really didn't have to move, but because I did not trust. Let me tell y'all something about having faith and trusting in God. I mean, I just got so many things. It's so packed.
Just give it to us.
But there was a time in my life that I did not have faith in God. I had so many bad things happen to me. One event after another. I mean, I couldn't catch a break, you guys. It was like job. It was like money. It was like homes, houses. It was like failed relationship. I was just going through it, right?
Yep.
And so this last time, I was like, God don't love me. If I'm facing this situation again, you know what? I'm just going to do what I need to do, take care of myself, make my own decision. I'm going to get up and I'm going to move. So that day I had to move because I said this was the day that I was going to move. All right. Yeah. Lord, I'm going to move. Okay. Right. I'm not waiting on you.
Yeah.
So I went to this house and I saw it. It was clean. They had just put the sign out. I moved and I was like, I'm going to move here and this is where I'm going to be. It was so easy. It was so smooth. The rent at the time was cheap. The landlord was Caucasian. I was like, cool. It was clean. The grass is clean. I'm like, I'm going to move here.
Yep.
So I moved there, you guys. And I'm on the bottom floor. In Cleveland, we have
what is that called? A two-family?
A two-family house.
Yeah,
I don't see those here a lot.
I don't think they have them.
I don't see them anywhere but where we live.
Because they shouldn't be nowhere. That's why.
Stupid.
They shouldn't be
Who
nowhere.
wants to live in a house with another family? But I didn't know that something was wrong with it.
Right. And it's weird because, I mean, obviously it's done in apartments. But why you just... It's just weird when it's just two
families.
Yeah,
that means you're sharing a whole house with another family, a whole back hallway.
Yeah, it's
the
weird.
whole same basement, the same garage.
I'm
it's
getting mad. I'm getting mad at Cleveland.
So it's a two-family house.
Right.
And so I was downstairs and he lived upstairs. He was a single white guy.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird because I was a single, it was me and I had my two daughters with me. So we were girls, but I didn't think anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm making my own decision.
Like I'm doing me.
I'm doing
now.
this.
I need to move.
I got to take care of myself.
We're about to roll over here real quick.
We got to, I'm about to stay downstairs.
Stay downstairs from here real quick. Real quick. Lord.
So listen, y'all. This was the craziest thing ever. I'm gonna try to make this story short. So ask me questions if you have any questions.
Right.
I move in this place and I get movers. I move in and my first night there on a Friday night. So Friday night is the Sabbath and we cut off the TV and we have, your house is quiet. You have worship. You worship God. So it's me and my youngest, Lilia. It was Lilia. We were in the bed, and our bedroom, which is gross, was underneath his bedroom.
Yeah, so the house is literally stacked on top of each other. So it's the same
setup.
Same setup, right on top. Yeah.
So your bedroom is the master bedroom is theirs, and the kid room, and the living room, dining room. So we're in the bed, and it's quiet. It's a Friday night, and all of a sudden you can hear people walking upstairs. You can hear people come in. You can hear people go out. Right. So I'm upstairs. I'm downstairs. We're in the bed early and it's quiet. Lilia asleep. And all of a sudden I hear,
tell them what you heard.
I'm going to imitate this and y'all do not laugh. I hear, in a man voice, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gross. And then it gets quiet. Then I hear footsteps. They go to the bathroom and they do whatever in the bathroom because I can hear over in the bathroom because the place is so small. And then I come back and then I hear again, grossed me out.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that?
No, I couldn't.
Oh.
I didn't like what you just said.
And I'm not, so I'm trying to sound like a man.
No, I feel you.
So basically,
Right.
I
You
heard
paint the
a man
Yeah.
in intercourse. I heard a man in intercourse. So I
Yeah.
only know
Yeah.
this guy to be
Yes.
in a, you know,
Yes.
he's a man.
Right.
So that was that first Friday night.
Yeah.
I was just so violated because I had never
Girl, I
experienced
would have had to
anything
turn
like
on.
that.
That would have been one night. I said, "Lord, the TV is coming on.
Coming on.
Yes, we're not gonna have it quiet."
Yes.
But yeah.
So I finally fall asleep.
Yeah.
And so the next week, so I didn't know who it was or what was happening. I was just
Right.
like, ugh. So we go through the week. I work. I go back, and it's Friday night again.
Yeah.
In habit, I cut off the TV to keep the Sabbath.
It's the Sabbath.
Because it's the Sabbath, and I hear it again.
Yeah, so
same
same
thing.
situation.
To the
Right.
bathroom.
Right.
Bum, bum, let
Right.
me. Let me say that.
Baby, turn around.
Bum, bum, bum. That was bum, 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 right?
Right.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum. Bathroom, bum, bum, bum. Right?
Ooh.
So I'm like, oh my goodness. So I learned that every Friday night that me and Lilia would go to the living room to
Yeah.
sleep.
So this was a pattern.
The
and it was a
pattern
Friday night.
for Friday nights. It was
Right.
every weekend.
Right.
So on the weekends though,
Right.
like, you know, Saturday I would be gone or whatever,
Yep.
church or whatever, and I would come back. Now I would never see him. I would see him from time to time, but I never knew who was going in, who he
Okay.
was bumping
Right.
with.
It's a mystery.
It's a bump mystery.
I think that should be a book because it be bump mysteries everywhere.
The name of this podcast is the bump mystery.
Who is it? Yes.
Who is bumping?
Right.
So one day, I was in the kitchen and they were coming down the stairs. Whoever was coming over to get bump,
Right.
was coming down the stairs and they were talking. So I ran to the window to peek out the window to see who she was or who it was, like what was going on. So I'm peeking out the window and I see two men coming downstairs.
So it was the guy that lived upstairs and then
Another guy.
his partner. Okay.
Okay. So, all right.
Well,
I'm not on here to condemn anybody.
right.
I'm not on here to judge anybody.
Right.
I can only speak for me.
Yeah.
And my preferences and my beliefs.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm used to.
Right.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
It blew me away.
Yeah. So you kind of, people do what they do or whatever, but you kind of had almost like a little firsthand experience of like hearing activities and stuff like that. And then knowing that it was
That what it was.
Yeah,
so
same
all
thing.
these 3 weeks, I've been
Right.
getting bum.
Right. So it's like an ear violation.
It's
You don't wanna hear
I'm
that.
in my home,
Yes.
and not only am I in my home, but I have my baby
Yes.
in my home with me.
Yes.
So I felt violated, you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That's personally how I felt.
Yeah.
It could have been anybody, and I still felt violated. But
Right.
this for me
It was something
something different. It was
I feel
something
you.
new.
I would have
Yeah.
felt the same way.
That's something new.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I was distraught because I just moved in this place.
Yeah.
I spent all my money. I done moved here. I done did my own thing.
for this.
Yeah, I done did my own thing. I done stepped out on God, and
Now you in a bump.
Now I'm in a bump situation. Bumped up situation, right?
Yeah.
So but it's like triple time because of the situation.
Right,
That's all I
right,
can
right,
say.
right,
So
right.
here's the thing, you guys. This story is so loaded. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but it's good.
Right.
So I'm in this. So this was October when I moved in.
Okay.
And November was coming up. It had been about 3 or 4 weeks, and I
Okay.
finally figured out what was going on.
Okay.
So one day, you guys, I came home from work and I didn't have my little one with me. And what I did was I began to pray. I said, Lord, I am so sorry for anything that I have not trusted you with my life. I said, I know where I've been spiritually. Yep. And I said, we often get ourselves into situations where we do it to ourselves.
Absolutely.
I said, but you are my God and you are my Father.
Yeah.
And you know the beginning from the end. I need you right now.
Yeah.
This is my first time really doing something like that. You hear about prayer like that.
I walked around the house 7 times.
7 times and put oil.
But you did one of those.
I did one of those things.
Yeah.
For him, I prayed. I said, Lord, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I asked that you would make it stop.
Yeah.
I live here now.
Right.
And I don't have peace in my home.
Yes.
I don't have peace in my bedroom.
Yeah.
And when I feel there was a spirit there that was not right.
You just felt it.
From the time that I got there, but I didn't know what it was. And I'll tell you guys more about it in hindsight.
Yeah.
There's more. There's a whole lot more to it.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was the thing that stood out.
Yeah.
And so I walked around the house and I prayed to the Most High God, like, Lord, I need you to come through for me. And when I tell you, podcast family and friends, that it never, ever, ever happened again.
Amen. Amen.
It didn't.
Amen.
And I thank God, and I was thanking God. So on Friday nights it would get quiet and it would just be quiet. But Monday night was quiet and Tuesday night was quiet and Wednesday. And so from November on, even Christmas, even January, February, it was totally quiet.
Good.
So I knew that God had answered my prayer.
Yeah.
About that thing. I never saw that person come back again.
Great.
And it was totally quiet. While I was living there, the basement was really scary.
Okay.
And going down there, it was so eerie and I would have to wash clothes. But because this man was eerie to me, he was really weird. I knew how to avoid him doing laundry. I knew when he did laundry.
Right.
I knew when he went to work every day, how he came home. I knew his schedule because I could hear it. So I knew how to avoid him. So I never ever saw him the entire time.
Yeah.
The way that I would pay my rent when I was renting at the time was I would place the rent in an envelope on the stairs. He would grab it. That would be it. And go.
Yeah.
So we never had communication with each other. We never even saw each other in the garage or anywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that to say is that we were living in the same space with no communication.
Yeah.
I did not know him as a person. I did not share Christ with him. I did not talk to him. It was just hands off and it was just weird.
Now, do you feel like you didn't say anything to him because you found out, that he was in that situation? Did he just give you a weird vibe overall? Was he friendly? Like,
no, he was weird overall.
Okay, so a weird guy.
He was just a weird guy overall.
Okay,
he was one of those guys that you're like, I don't know what you're doing upstairs in your apartment.
Okay. I
don't know what's up there, but I don't ever want to see what's up there. I don't want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
It was that.
Yeah.
But I had already just moved in.
Yeah.
Without vetting, without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just doing my own thing. Like, I'm going to take care of myself. And this is my only option right now.
Okay.
This is my only option, Lord. So I'm just going to settle for this.
Yeah, I got you.
So that's what it was. So it was awkward from the very beginning.
Okay.
So in that time frame that he was not, that I had no interaction with him, I lived there for a couple of more months. So November, December, January. So through Christmas. So Thanksgiving came. No one came to visit for Thanksgiving. No one left. Christmas came. There was no one there for Christmas. New Year's, no one. The first time that I saw him from the day that I saw him outside, like Easter weekend or something like that.
March
maybe in March or something like that.
Wow.
But anyway, so there was no communication. It was but at the same time, what was happening in his life at the time was very sad.
Okay.
Very dark.
Okay.
It was tragic.
Okay. Tell me about, and I'm telling her to tell us because I know some of the stories because it's crazy. Like when you are in relationship with your family and they go through stuff, they don't realize you go through it with them.
Yeah.
And so Melissa would call us and share like, this craziness is happening, So tell us about just his temperament and,
Yeah.
all of that.
Oh yeah. So his temperament. The first thing that happened one day was my oldest daughter came home, and by habit we lock the doors. So there's a screen door. We have screen doors, and then you have a main door. Well, she locked the screen door, and he never locks the screen door.
Okay.
We didn't know that.
Okay.
So wherever he worked, he would get up and leave out the house at 6 a.m. every morning. That's how I knew it was time for me to get up and go to work, because I hear him leaving.
You hear him,
coming out the thing. I'm like, okay, time to get up.
Right.
So 6 a.m., the screen door is locked for whatever reason. My daughter locked the door.
Right.
He slams the door. He throws the Now, I'm on the bottom floor. He throws the garbage can. He starts cussing, fussing, throwing the garbage can. I never locked this screen door. I mean, all kinds of explicit words at 6 a.m., throwing tantrums. He what do you call it? Burned rubber out of the garage, and it scared me so bad. I jumped up.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What's going on? What did we do?
Right.
You know, to
so he's
get
not
this
saying
wrath.
nothing to y'all. He just having a grown man temper.
He having
tantrum.
a grown man temper tantrum outside of the house.
I would have been like, excuse me, 911.
Yes, I mean, it was garbage cans everywhere. It was hitting stuff. It was throwing stuff at 6 a.m. And so I heard it and it scared me to death.
Yeah.
So I went to work, normal day, came home.
Right.
He sent me a text message and said, hey, make sure you guys don't lock the screen door. I like to keep it open for these reasons. And that was it.
Wow. Weirdo.
So I was like, dang. So I'm like, Mariah, this is crazy. Don't lock
Don't do that.
the screen door ever.
Yeah.
Then one time, Brian and them came to visit me from Atlanta. Yeah. He brought his sisters. They were all out. Yeah. They came to stay with me downstairs.
Right.
So they went out and they came home at 1, 2 in the morning. Now, 1, 2 in the morning, when you come in, they shut the door. Right. They getting food out the refrigerator, eating, just talking, living up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't loud, but because it's so, close, you could hear it.
Everything.
He woke up in the middle of the night and he Donkey Kong jumped on top of my bedroom for 5 minutes.
Wow.
Like, boom, boom, boom. And we were just sitting like there like, girl, this is crazy.
This is crazy.
But I had nowhere to go, y'all.
Yeah.
My family was half in Atlanta, somewhere in Cleveland, but you just don't be like, hey, this is crazy.
You was just in a trench. You was just in a man down situation.
I was in a man down situation, but my kids heard it firsthand. Like, this is freaking crazy. You gotta get out of here. Right. And this was like during Christmas break or whatever, and so that happened. So those were the two biggest things that stood out. Is why I never wanted to build a relationship with him. Is why I never said anything to him. It was just like we tiptoe, and I hated going home from work
in your own home. Not wanting to do
now
wrong.
I switch bedrooms. The back bedroom is empty under his.
Right.
Me, I'm in a front bedroom.
Right. I would do the same thing.
I sleep in the front bedroom. My oldest daughter Mariah's in this bedroom, and the living room is there. Yeah. So every day I came home, I just sat in the living room, real quiet, every day. It was
that's
awful.
torture. Yeah.
It was torture, y'all.
Yeah.
It was torture. So trying to speed this up a little bit for you guys, so you can get, the gist of the whole story, is that in April 9th, I want to say April 8th or April 9th, he committed suicide. Okay.
Tell us what happened.
He committed suicide. And so it was probably the most traumatic thing that I had experienced, because the day that I came to visit Crystal in Atlanta, Georgia, I think it was for a baby shower or Easter or something like that. I came to visit and came home, and I went to get my hair done. It was like maybe a Monday or so. And I said, oh, I have to pay the rent. So I'm going to put the rent on the stairs. So I came home from getting my hair done. I put the rent on the stairs, so he could get it. Mariah was on her way out of the house. I was on my way into the house. And Mariah said, I'll be right back, Mom. I'm going to get a pop. I want to get some pop or something. I said, okay. when you come back, I might be gone. I'm going to pick up Lilia.
Okay.
So it was just me there. Put the rent on the stairs. We heard him upstairs walking around as normal.
Okay, so he was a pacer.
He was a pacer. I'll tell y'all about that too.
Okay.
But anyway, he was upstairs, so I knew he was there. That's why I put the rent there.
Right.
And then I left out to go get Lilia.
Right.
Mariah went to get Pop or whatever.
Right.
So it takes me 30 minutes to pick up Lilia.
Yeah.
I go to her grandmother's house to pick her up. I come back. I pull into the garage.
Okay.
In the garage, you know how sometimes you pull into the garage and you are just sitting in there, fumbling through papers. I was listening to the last part of the song, telling Lydia, get your crackers out the car. Just, you just doing stuff. So I was in the garage for like 15 minutes, y'all.
Yeah.
But when you pull into the garage, either the light cuts on or the light cuts off.
Okay.
But the way that I came in, the light didn't cut on until I opened the door to get out the car.
Gotcha.
So the sensor went off. So I was just sitting there with the lights on in my car.
Right, in the garage.
Yeah. So
I don't know if this matters, but is it dark outside? Is it light outside?
It's dark.
It's dark early.
It's dark. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's dark.
Okay.
It was, pretty.
The sun was
It was
setting
about
or whatever.
8:30 in the evening.
Okay.
So it's dark.
Yep.
So I'm sitting in the garage. He has like a Porsche sitting next to my car, and then he has a regular car that he drives. So there's 3 cars in this garage, and so I'm sitting there. So I get out of the car, you guys, and I'm facing the inside of the car because I opened the door to pull Lilia out the car.
Right.
And she's like 2 at this time. And so I'm facing the car, but I smell smoke in the garage.
Okay.
And so I turn around and I got Lilia in my arm.
Okay, so you took her out.
I took her out the car.
Okay.
I got her in my arms.
Right.
But I smell smoke. So I
Right.
turn around and I see smoke still going up. So
Okay.
I look around and the garage light turned on by my movement. And he was on the garage wall with his brains blew out.
Ooh.
He was hanging on the wall like this.
Oh my gosh.
His arms were up. His head was back with his glasses on.
Oh man.
Blood was shot up through the garage and the cigarette was still going. That means that he just
did
it.
Melissa.
He just killed himself right before
You came.
right before I came. Because cigarettes don't burn that long.
Right. So he was probably smoking a cigarette.
He smoked a
and then made the
cigarette
decision.
and killed himself. He planned to do it that evening. He planned to kill himself because the reason I know he planned to kill himself is because he walked right past my rent on the stairs.
Wow.
Went to the garage.
Wow.
And took his life. And what he did was he put right underneath him was wood build up. He put wood because when you have wood soaks blood. And so the blood wouldn't splatter everywhere.
He thought it through.
He knew what he was doing. He had the gun, he had the wood, and it soaked. It soaked. But anyway, when I saw him, y'all,
Girl.
when I saw him, it was like a horror movie because I was sitting in the dark with him, dead.
Yeah.
And not only was I sitting in the dark with him, dead. When the light popped on and the cigarette smoke is there, I see a horror scene.
Absolutely.
So I take off screaming and running down the street with my baby in my hand.
Yes.
And I was running and running and the street was pretty long. Nobody was outside. Every time I'm in trauma, Nobody trying to help me. I look my baby. Yeah, nobody. But nobody was out. I mean, I'm screaming, and so Mariah had just left. So he waited till Mariah left. He waited till I pulled off, and he went to kill himself. But as I'm running, I'm trying to call 911, but I could not figure out what 911 was.
What's the number for 911?
What's the number for 199? I don't know.
Oh,
I couldn't unlock my phone.
Yeah.
I couldn't call 911.
Yes.
And the way that because Mariah had just called me or had just talked to her, I was able to push the button, the redial button to get to her because I didn't know her number either.
Yep.
And I was just screaming and hollering. But mind you, I'm down the street screaming and hollering.
Where's Lilia?
So Lilia's in my arms.
Okay.
She don't know what's going on. So she's crying because I'm crying.
Right. Like, what we
She
doing?
did not see him.
Oh,
so
thank
because
God.
the way that I turned around, she was
She
in my
wasn't
arms. She
looking.
wasn't looking. So she had no idea what was happening. And so Mariah comes around the corner to the house because she thinks I'm at the house.
Okay, so did you talk to her first?
I said, I just screamed. I couldn't.
You couldn't tell her what was wrong with you.
Couldn't tell her what was wrong with me. I couldn't tell her.
So she hears you screaming. So she's probably flying home.
She's flying home, but I'm way down the street, and she goes home to the house and runs in the garage because she sees my car and she sees what I saw. She saw it too. Oh. And so we get together. We call the police. I thought that somebody killed him.
Yeah.
And I thought that the
killer could have been
in the house.
Yeah.
I thought the killer was in the garage.
Yeah.
I thought the killer was going to come for me and my baby. Melissa. So that's why I ran. It was very frightful. I don't know.
I have goosebumps. I
was traumatized.
Yeah.
And I still, it took me a long time to get over it. But guys, I was screaming and crying and hollering for a long time that night.
Yeah.
Do you know the main reason that I was crying is because I had been in this house with this man for 4 or 5 months and I never told him about Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never shared the gospel of Jesus Christ with him because if you kill yourself,
that's it.
If you kill yourself, that's it. And you needed Christ. You needed Jesus. You needed love. Clearly something in your life is missing.
Yeah.
Clearly something in your life is missing that I could have given you because I had it.
You had it.
Because I knew it. Because I had a relationship with the Father. And I cried so hard is because in my move to that place was a place where I felt that God had turned his back on me.
Yeah.
It was a place of I had lost faith in God, that he loved me and that he would even do anything for me.
Yeah.
So where I was with God, I wasn't able to be a light to him to give God's love. Now, I prayed that prayer.
Right.
Because you still have a knowledge of God. You still honor him and serve him.
Yeah.
But where I was in my actions and in my place in life, I did not give him Christ. And it hurt me to the core that this man who was at the time my same age.
Was he?
Yes.
I thought he was older.
No, he was my age. He was 43, 40. Yeah, he was
young.
43. He was young. He was young.
I didn't know
and I didn't know it either. I mean, he looked, I'm sorry, black don't crack, but you know.
Looked a little older.
Right. He was looking a little older.
Grandpa, but
right.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry.
He was giving Abe Lincoln. He was giving a little George Washington at the time.
You was like, is this you on the corner, sir?
Because you on the corner. I thought it was safe to move there because he had a little Abe Lincoln going on.
Okay, dang.
Yeah, but anyway. Anyway, y'all know
we
us.
sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, but I did not give him Christ, and that broke my spirit because I was like, I could have saved him. When I came home to put the rent, I could have gave him. I could have gave him a Christmas present.
Yeah,
I could have gave him something for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I could have asked him, did he need anything? Because the time that I prayed that prayer, what I didn't know is that he lost his companion.
Oh, did he die?
No, y'all.
What happened?
Oh,
you know they
tell people want to know.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys. When I tell you there are people in this world that you don't know their story and what they've been through, do not judge because you don't know. When you meet somebody that seems strange, that seems odd, that seems awkward, get on your knees for them and you pray for them.
Yeah.
Pray for them.
Yes.
Try to reach them. Try to serve them in any way or capacity that you can.
Yep.
Because the Lord will protect you in doing that.
Yeah.
So what happened in hindsight about my prayer? Let's go back. We'll talk about the suicide in a minute.
Yeah.
Is I prayed that prayer.
Yeah.
After I prayed that prayer, I'll give him a name. I'll call him Joe.
Okay.
Joe woke up that next day or that week, and he called his partner and he said, I don't want to ever see you again. Don't come over.
Wow.
Don't call me.
Yeah.
Don't ever come back.
So he just broke it off.
He broke it off.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
After my prayer.
Yeah.
He broke it off. And it hurt him bad.
To have to
do
have
that.
Broken it off. Yeah.
And he don't even know that was my prayer.
Yeah.
But
So how did you find out?
The person that he broke it off with was hurt too.
Okay.
So this was a big breakup.
Yeah.
I've come to find out, how I found this out is that after he died and committed suicide, you guys, that same night with the tape in the driveway and the coroner's office and the funeral, the home coming to get him and the cops and everything, I had to stay in that house that night.
Girl,
by myself.
Police, where is the hotel?
I don't know what I was thinking. I was so afraid.
Yeah.
And I stayed there because, again,
just did.
I think I was feeling so doomed. I think I was at my lowest.
Yeah.
That I didn't
Just
even
like,
want to ask for help.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I get.
Yeah.
This is what I deserve. This is where I made my bed. So I'm lying
might
in
as well
it.
stay here.
Yeah. So I was at my lowest. It was real low.
Yeah.
I stayed there. And at the time, it was so bad that when I stayed there, I wanted to call my daddy and say, Daddy, can you come stay with me?
Yeah.
I was too prideful to ask. But when you want your daddy to somebody come, daddy,
can you hear me, Father? Help me. I needed help.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I love you. Yes, I wanted my dad to come. I wanted my dad to come.
That's desperate.
Yeah, but so that night I stayed there. I stayed there, but for 3 weeks, y'all, I was in that house by myself.
Girl, please.
Now, somebody done committed suicide in the house that you're in. You don't park in the garage anymore. The house upstairs is silent.
Yeah.
You don't know what's up there.
Yeah. Girl.
Let me tell y'all. But that's how I was stuck. I was just stuck like that. So here's the thing. I would go to work, come home. I would try to stay out as long as I could. We would play outside. We would go to the park. And y'all weren't here.
Where was we?
Living in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
And mommy was mommy wasn't there either. I
feel like you were choosing. I feel like we did not help you, but I felt like you was like, I'm gonna roll with it.
I was choosing my fate.
Yeah.
So here's why I was choosing my fate, you guys. I lost my other home. I had moved. I had moved out that other one.
That one didn't work out.
That didn't work out either. I had about 3-4 of them didn't work out. Listen, I've been through some things.
Yeah.
But I had stayed with a family member during that time.
Oh.
And I did not want to go back to that situation.
So that's where you were before that. I didn't know that.
I was 2 places before that.
We're not about to do this. It's okay. But I didn't know right before.
So
Joe's house was okay.
It was another one in between there. It was Shaker then Joe's house. Okay. But I had stayed with a family member prior to that, and I didn't want to go back to that situation. So I would never ask.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to, I would never ask or never. That's a whole nother podcast. I would never do it.
Yeah.
If I didn't have to, you know what I mean? So I'm rolling with what I had.
I just got to do this.
I got to do this. I got to weather through this. I was so distraught. And that was one of the times I was telling you that I talked to my church, some people in the church, they were like, be blessed. I'm sorry, be blessed. Yeah. But it was but anyway, guys.
Church hurt. That podcast
I think that was church hurt.
Yeah.
That was my first experience
coming, for sure.
But anyway, so going back to... where was I at? What happened?
We were talking about how you found out just all the stuff.
Oh, how I found out everything that I found out.
Right.
So for 3 weeks I was in the house.
Right.
There was no father that came, no mother, no brother, no sister, no aunt, no uncle.
Right.
I didn't even know where to go to find anybody.
Right.
And the cops were asking me, do you know his family? Has anybody ever come over?
Right.
I said, well, one person came over. I don't know who that person was, but I've never seen them again since. No family whatsoever.
Now, what about the neighbors? Because
the neighbors did not. So there was only one neighbor across the street.
Yeah.
That finally shared with me. She said, was a neighbor across the street. She was black like me. All the other neighbors didn't know who, nothing. It was just strange. And he had been living there.
Yeah.
But the neighbor across the street from me, she was like, girl, she said, when you moved in there, she was like, I prayed for you.
Yeah.
She said, because he is crazy.
Like, why would you even?
This is what she said. She said, before you moved in there, he would be outside throwing tantrums and throwing things at anybody that turned in his driveway, stepped in his yard. And she said, through the window, you could see him pacing back and forth from the window. And she said he sat in the window and stared outside the window the whole time.
Oh, wow.
He would just pace and pace and pace and pace and pace. She said he was crazy. Yeah. So she said, when you moved in there, it all stopped.
Okay. Like he got a little better.
It stopped. So he didn't pace while I was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever I did, whatever the Lord, I know the Lord was with me, who warded off demons that I did not know was present.
Girl. Yeah.
He never stared out the window. Right. One time he did. Yeah. But it was stopped.
It was a milder version.
It was a mild.
Of the
he just looked out.
Right.
He just wanted to see who was out there.
Right.
It was a mild. It was subsided, and so she said, while you were living there, we would look and be like, oh my gosh, he's not throwing tantrums. He's not throwing tantrums. Okay. He's not out here pacing. He's not acting crazy.
He acting better.
So when we moved in there, the Spirit of God was watching over us in that house and covering and warding off those things that were happening. Yeah. And in my prayer, stop that thing.
I remember you told us like
it ain't. It's not happening no more.
It's not happening.
It's not happening anymore. So for 3 weeks, 3 weeks, y'all, nobody.
Okay.
The cops asked me. I said, "Listen, I haven't seen anybody. I saw one person.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that person in months. This was like April.
Right.
So I get to it's 3 weeks. One day I hear two people coming in.
Okay.
It was two family members. Okay. A guy and a girl came. Okay. I heard them coming downstairs, so I ran to the door to introduce myself because at this time I'm squatting in the house right now.
Yeah, you need to know what's happening.
Yeah, what's happening.
Yeah, in every way.
Praise God, he didn't even take my rent that day, so I had my money back in my pocket.
Ask you if you went and got that rent.
Baby, I was like, oh God,
God, lead me to the back steps because there's an envelope waiting on me.
He was like, go to the back steps. I went to the back steps, baby. That check was there.
You better get that rent back.
I was like, oh God, you are so merciful. You are so good. You are so kind.
Now,
you are
did
so
you tithe
loving.
off of that? You're supposed to tithe off of
I gave him a little bit of it. I was like, oh God, thank you so much.
Yeah,
but going back to them being there. They're there. I go to see them. I go to meet with them because I'm living in this house for free at this point.
Need to talk about
and when I opened the door, it's a lady that turned out to be maybe a cousin or something like that.
Okay.
And it was the guy that he was sleeping with.
Got you.
I recognized the face. I recognized him. And I said, hey.
Yeah.
And at this time I was concerned, like, where have you been? Like,
bruh,
you know, I know I prayed, but
it's been 3 weeks.
It's been 3 weeks. Where have you been? Like, what happened? What's going on?
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he said, you know, hi, you know, I'm his nephew. And at this time I was like, his nephew. I was like, oh.
Right.
Okay.
How was your face like? Because I wouldn't have had nobody.
I was like, nephew.
Like the nephew that used to be
upstairs. The nephew that was upstairs. So y'all was bumping.
Yes.
I was like, oh Lord. Yes. So this is the person that, and he said, you know, I woke up one day. He said one day in November or early November, you know, Joe called me and said, don't call me anymore. Don't contact me, anything. And that was when I prayed, you guys.
Yeah.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. And he woke up and he just did that. And so the nephew was like, I didn't know what happened between us. I didn't know what I did. He was like, I tried to reach out to him. I didn't come over, you know, but I wanted to. Yeah. He was like, but he told me no. So Joe spent Christmas and all of that alone. He didn't even go anywhere. He was in the house just quiet. He was, of course, and I know now he had a broken heart.
Yep.
And he didn't have family members. And because of the lifestyle that I learned about through his nephew, because his nephew just came in and sat down and was telling everything.
So what else did he say?
So the nephew was like, I love him.
Wow.
I have loved him since I was 4 years old.
And how old was he?
He About 30. The nephew's like 30.
Okay.
He said when he used to come home from school, he was angry when he came. Joe would come home from school. He was older.
Yeah.
He would come home from school and I would just look at him and just be like, I would just want to be with him. I just want to be upstairs with him. I just want to be in his arms. I just want to be loved by him and love him.
Yeah.
He said from the time I was 4 and 5 years old.
We got to talk about that on a whole nother podcast. Just those desires at such a young age.
Yeah. I saw like a little snippet of Untold with Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay. She got one?
Yeah, it's Untold. And
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but he was just saying from day one he had been worrying inside about who he was.
Wow.
Or, having those feelings and having those thoughts. So I mean, I know that people are born with that when they talk about it.
Wow, yeah. When they say, I've always felt
this way, that I was different. But here it is, this little 4-year-old in love with his uncle, and his uncle has no idea. Yeah. But what I found out was going on in his uncle's life is that he was violated by his brother. And his brother is that way, and his uncle is that way, and the whole family is that way. And I also found out that they had abuse through the mother, the sexual abuse, and that all of these things were trickled down from the parents. And that 3 years before he committed suicide, his mother committed suicide. So they have suicide in their family. They have incest. They have molestation. They have all these things going on in the family. And they lived in a farmhouse, like in a rural Amish area where, the house is way back and there's no neighbors.
Past those houses,
who lives there? What's happening back there? They lived in a house like that where it was a lot of them in one house. The walls weren't done. The house was raggedy. There was no carpet. There was no running water.
Yeah, like children's services would have definitely
taken them. Yeah. But he came up in one of those environments. And so when his nephew got older and started reaching out to him for that type of relationship, because he had been violated, he had been fighting it, but it was familiar, and he succumbed to that relationship.
Dang.
And so they had been having this relationship for a long time, y'all.
Yeah.
And he was tormented.
Yeah. And do you think that he ended his life because even though he ended the relationship, he, not died of a broken heart, but was brokenhearted, already? Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Your life growing up.
Yep.
What you've been through.
Yeah.
Recognizing your sins.
Yeah.
Recognizing the things that you couldn't fight or knew how to overcome.
Yeah. And it's crazy because the devil will be on your head. He will lead you into doing things that you shouldn't do, and then he will be like, look at you, kill yourself. Nobody loves you. Nobody's going to take care of you. So that was happening, and I found all of this stuff out through the nephew. And just so you know, guys, I did go to the funeral. I did meet the family. I did see all of that, and I'll tell you about that a little bit as well. But going back to the story, on top of that, in October, when I moved to the house, Joe found a lump under his arm. Oh.
And the lump under his arm was lymphoma? Yeah, lymphoma.
Okay.
And he had stage 4 lymphoma cancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what was going on.
Yeah.
And he was dying.
Yeah.
And felt that he had no one. He felt that he did not want anybody to take care of him.
Yeah.
He didn't have anybody to take care of him.
Yeah.
He did not want that relationship anymore. Yeah. He was just done with life.
Dang.
And he was going on with this lump under his arm in October, November, December, and January. He did not go see about it. He didn't go see about it, but he kept telling one of his secretaries that he had at work what was going on. She's like, go to the doctor, go to the doctor, go to the doctor.
Right. Wow.
When he went to the doctor at the end of March, they found out that he was stage 4.
Oh, that's awful.
And he would not answer the phone.
Okay.
So he knew.
So he wouldn't answer the phone for who? The doctor?
The doctors.
To tell him?
To tell him that he was dying.
Okay.
But when they kept calling him, he knew.
And
he killed himself.
Dang.
He killed
That's
himself.
real sad.
It was so sad. I was so distraught.
Yeah.
Here it is, this man that has suffered this life,
Yeah.
that has is dying of a disease, that has struggled, that has gone without, that has moved away to try to get away from the sins or the things that transpired in his life. And he comes across this black girl that knows Jesus Christ. Who did not pray for him. Who did not give him a track, a steps to Christ, nothing. That broke me up, y'all. That broke me up. His story breaks me up. But what did I do?
Your part in the story.
I felt like I could have saved him. I felt like I could have given him hope. I felt like that I could have prayed that God. And I did used to pray for him, guys. Like, God be with him. God, bless him. But you are the only Jesus that somebody will see. And God can put you in people's paths to save them. But if you are not aligned with the Holy Spirit and walking in your purpose, then you will miss that opportunity. You'll miss it. That life could be held over your head. And I'm not saying his life, that all of this was my fault. But this is what I felt like. And this is where my hurt and my distraught came from. And I went to his funeral and I met his family. And his family was all in the wrong way. And he didn't leave his house to anybody. He had a 2000 at the time 18 Porsche, and that went back to the dealer, and everything that he had, his whole house that he worked for went into
didn't go to nobody,
go to anybody. He didn't leave it to his nephew. He didn't leave it to his cousins, to his mom. Nothing. Everything was in vain almost. And so it's just, people, you guys, it is so important. It is so important to have a relationship with God. And it is so important to be a witness. And I may not could have saved him from that. But I could have been more instrumental in giving to him what he needed. And it took me a long time to get over that. So it took a long time. If you think somebody died on your watch, and you constantly see the vision of them being with their brains blown out.
See that? How's Mariah even dealing with that?
She's fine. She was like, "Whoo, that was rough," But because sometimes you're not associated with, but that was rough for her to see. It was rough for her to see me distraught. And after that, I literally didn't have a place to live again.
Girl,
I had to get up out of here, and then I came to Atlanta. Y'all welcome. Thank you. I'm here.
You did. You made a good choice.
That's how I ended up in Atlanta, you guys. That's really how I ended up here. It's just that situation. God propelled me and pushed me on out. And my trust in him and my relationship with him got deeper.
Absolutely.
Like, I repent, God, I trust you. Lead and guide my footsteps. But anytime that I'm in the presence of people, in some kind of way, I'm sharing Christ. That's on my job. That was
going to be my question. Like, what did you take away from that? What would you do differently, or how do you move differently in terms of relationships with people?
Listen, anytime I'm bringing up his name, I say that I thank God. I said I will ask people. God will give you discernment in how to reach people and what to say.
I agree.
So it's like, hey, can I pray for you? Or let me give you a testimony. Let me share. Because sometimes, listen, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not saying that tracks don't work or steps to Christ or any of that is not valid. I mean, they are all pointing towards Christ, but it doesn't reach everybody the same way.
Everybody's different. You cannot just hand everybody a track
and be like,
they can't read it.
They can't read. It's too small.
The print is too tiny. So let's work on that, track makers. But anyway, I feel
but so I always look for ways. My prayer when I come across people is, how do you want me to be a light? How do you want me to be a witness?
Yep.
What do you want me to say to this person?
Yep.
And it's even if you don't say anything, it's in your lifestyle and how you live.
People are watching.
People are watching you.
Man.
They're watching what you say, what you do. When you pull out in the driveway, what music you're listening to. If you're using curse words, if you are talking about people in your conversation with them. So I am conscious of the way that, and I'm not, I fail, but my goal and my aim is to share Jesus with anybody that I see.
Yeah, and I would encourage our listeners to do the same. And like Melissa said, it's not always handing out stuff. It can be through your lifestyle.
Yeah,
people are watching you, and we have to. God holds us accountable with what we do with our influence.
Yeah,
we all have a sphere of influence.
Yes.
Some larger than others. You know what I'm saying? Some bigger platforms, some small, but somebody's watching you and is influenced by you. And, I received that message even right now to myself. I got to watch what I be doing. I got to get rid of my belly shirt.
No, I mean, belly shirts is all right.
Okay.
They're okay. I don't think nothing wrong with a belly shirt. And you're modest too.
It is.
I mean, but it's
just little stuff. People be looking
it's
at you
little
like
stuff.
you Christian, but I kind of see your belly.
I see your, but God, it doesn't say in the word that you can't show your belly. No, it doesn't say that.
Okay.
It just says in all things,
I don't
serve
know.
me. Think of these things that are pure, good, and lovely,
and I
and
know
just.
somebody's like, well, that ain't nothing, but it's just
that. But that's your own. If that's your own conviction
for me, like just whatever it is. So
I think belly tops are cute. But
me too. Yes, this is not about this podcast is not about belly shirts. However, what I want to say is when you are shorts and you have short arms and you have like a little petite build, if your shirt is tinier and fits, it gives you like
elongates you.
Yes,
it elongates
versus
you.
wearing a big old long t-shirt.
Yeah, I agree because I'm short too. You got to wear things that make you, they always tell you, oh, she's wearing tight things on her body, but baggy things don't look good on the type of figures that we have.
You gotta wear
so you gotta wear it
yes.
fitting so you can look neat in your clothes. So I don't think nothing's wrong with that.
Yeah,
but I do think that there are so many ways to share share Jesus with people.
Yes, and I don't know if I said this already on the podcast. I love this verse. I say it all the time. There's a Bible verse that says that some plant, some water, but God gives the increase.
Yes.
So that means that every time you don't have to lead somebody to Christ, you don't have to give them a whole Bible study. But even if you had a t-shirt that says God won't give up on you, and you are bold enough to wear that and someone sees that you could be planting a seed.
Yeah.
And then that same person that saw that, God will set it up where 3 days later somebody might come and say something to them.
Exactly.
About God.
And they remember the t-shirt like,
right, and it all adds up because God is planful and He orchestrates
things. He's so cold.
Don't make me get happy.
He's so cold-blooded that He works everything out. He will do anything that He can to save us, to give us the gospel, to give us Him, to give us the word, to draw closer. So we're all a part of a puzzle, and we got to play our part, but we got to be in tune with the Holy Spirit in order to do that, to know what to do.
And He'll give some people a shot or a hit of Him in small doses.
Yeah.
And some people, it's like a full-on, no, come on, you about to get baptized
right now. Get in the pool.
Right now.
You ever see people be at church, be like, I didn't even know I was getting baptized today. And they just in the pool. Yeah.
Straight baptized.
Yeah.
So I heard, so we're so all over the place. The other day, I heard a preacher saying, and I didn't like what he said, but he basically said, there won't be a starless crown in heaven. And I believe the Bible says that. But he said, if you don't get somebody else into heaven, then you're not going to heaven yourself. And I said, well, I'm conflicted with that because I think the message he was trying to give is to let your light shine and tell people about Jesus. However, we have to be careful even with what we say. Because I said, well, if you can't get to heaven unless you make somebody else go, explain the thief on the cross.
I was just about to say that.
Because make that make sense because he asked God to remember him and then
and he died on the cross.
You know what I'm saying? So he ain't getting nobody in. I don't think he got nobody in.
I think he slid through. He just made it through.
Right. And so you can't say that, you can't say that. But all I'm trying to say is like, God has His own timing for everybody. Let's be responsible with our influence and plant those seeds, and like Melissa said, be in tune with what the Lord wants you to do and say.
Be in tune with what He wants you to do and say.
Yeah.
And from that moment on, I try to stay in tune, even with my new managers, new coworkers, friends, people that I talk to. I may not say a lot. But you will know that I'm connected to God in some kind of way, and you will, and if you're open to hearing that and me sharing that, I think we both are. We definitely will. It's something that you can't help when it's a part of your life and it's your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I from that experience, it was so tragic. So tragic of an end. And even after like going to the funeral and meeting the family and hearing the entire story, I kept in touch with the nephew for a while. Unfortunately, I just had to mute him on social media because there were a lot of things that weren't a part of the lifestyle that I lived, that I just didn't want to be a part of. But in my prayer every April, I think it was April 7th. Between April 7th, April 9th, I remember Joe. I pray for his family. I pray for his nephew, the family that remains that, wasn't in contact with him. That experience will always be ingrained in my mind.
I bet.
And, I share it as a testimony to say, this is what I learned from it. It was in a place where I was not close to God. I lost faith in God. And sometimes we put ourselves in situations, but look how God brings you through. And He brought me through that whole thing.
Oh, He's going to be with you in the storm.
He's going to be with you.
There,
Yes. Whether you're in the valley of death or in the heavens or whatever, He is right there. And so I thank God for being with me and just allowing me to have, to build a closer relationship with Him. And then learning to build relationships with people outside of, the norm.
So that's your takeaway, y'all. With relationships with strangers, be willing to share Christ however the Holy Spirit leads you. God says, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father. Raise your hand if you want to be denied.
I do
before
not.
The Father.
I do not.
You don't want that either. So just ask God, like, Lord, what I need to say, who I need to talk to today, what I need to say to the people. Give me the words, the actions or whatever, and just be willing to listen. To the Spirit.
Absolutely. So. Hope you guys enjoyed today our conversation. We'll have many more like this. We got stories upon stories, and we enjoy. I enjoy talking to you guys. You guys are therapeutic. So please subscribe. Please please share it. Please give us some comments and some feedback. We appreciate all of you for joining us on a weekly basis, and we cannot thank you enough. And we look forward to coming back and talking to you guys next week.
So we hope you're here for it. Bye.
All right, bye.